Some people are unfathomably rich. According to Forbes, Elon Musk is the wealthiest man alive, with $228 billion to his name. That's more than the combined gross domestic product of Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia, which have around 76 million people between them. Surely in our modern world, where technology enables the creation and consolidation of truly incomprehensible wealth, we are living among the richest individuals in history. As it turns out, we are not. The world's wealthiest individuals lived in earlier times, and eras in which pure wealth was harder to measure. In this video, we are going to talk about the 5 most wealthy people who ever lived on this planet. But first, welcome to Most Expensive. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest Most Expensive videos. Number 5. USSR's Emperor Joseph Stalin. Wealth: complete control of a nation with 9.6% of global GDP, which is estimated around $7.5 trillion. Stalin is an uncommon figure in modern economic history, a dictator with absolute power who also controlled one of the largest economies in the world. While it is virtually impossible to separate Stalin's wealth from the wealth of the Soviet Union, his unique combination of economic might and complete control of the USSR lead multiple economists to nominate him as one of the richest people of all time. Stalin possessed the USSR, which was estimated around 9.6% of the world. While the money didn't belong directly to Stalin, he had the ability to leverage Soviet economic for any reason he chose. He had enormous power, and through his power he could have anything he wanted, says George O. Liebert, a professor of history at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Does that make Stalin rich in the traditional sense? Liebert isn't so sure. Was he among the wealthiest men? The professor wonders. I suppose if you want to stretch the definition of wealth, but it was not his wealth. He controlled the wealth of the country. Number 4. India's Emperor Akbar I. Wealth: ruled empire with 25% of global GDP. The greatest emperor of India's Mughal dynasty, Akbar controlled an empire that accounted for about 1/4 of global economic output. Fortune's Chris Matthews cites the late economic historian Angus Maddison, who speculates India's GDP per capita under Akbar was comparable to Elizabethan England, but with a ruling class whose extravagant lifestyle surpassed that of the European society. Number 3. Chinese Emperor Shinzo. Wealth: ruled empire with 25 to 30% of global GDP. China's Song dynasty was one of the most economically powerful empires of all time. According to Professor Ronald A. Edwards, the nation accounted between 25% and 30% of the world's economic output during its peak. The empire's wealth came from both its technological innovations and extreme skill at tax collection, which Edwards says was hundreds of years ahead of European governments. The professor also noted the Song dynasty's government was highly centralized, meaning the emperor held enormous control over the economy. Number 2. The Emperor of Rome, Augustus Caesar. Wealth: 25 to 30% global GDP, which is estimated around $4.6 trillion. Not only was Augustus Caesar in charge of an empire that accounted for 25% to 30% of the world's economic output, but according to Stanford history professor Ian Morris, Augustus at one point held personal wealth equivalent to 1/5 of his empire's economy. That fortune would be the equivalent of about $4.6 trillion. For a while, Augustus personally owned all of Egypt. That's hard to top. Number 1. The King of Timbuktu, Mansa Musa. Wealth: richer than anyone could describe. Mansa Musa, the King of Timbuktu, is often referred to as the wealthiest person in history. According to Ferrum College history professor Richard Smith, Musa's West African kingdom was likely the largest producer of gold in the world, at a time which gold was in especially high demand. Just how rich was Musa? There's really no way to put an accurate number on his wealth. Records are scarce, if non-existent, and contemporary sources describe the king's riches in terms that are impossible for the time. Some tales of his famous pilgrimage to Mecca mention dozens of camels each carrying hundreds of pounds of gold. He divided so much gold under poor people on that trip that it caused an economic crisis in all of Egypt. When no one can even comprehend your wealth, that means you're pretty darned rich. So guys, that was it for today. What did you think about our video? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more most expensive videos. Thanks for watching.